Welcome to the Ladies TalkShow. This is your host, Leah Richeimer. We are with an episode of Get Real with Leah, and we have a very sweet, wonderful lady. Her name is Peril. And Peril, can you welcome to the show?
Hello, hi.
Okay, good. Yeah, I want to find out, how many years are you married?
18 years,
Okay, and how many children do you have?
6.
Six children. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, what brings you here today?
Okay, so I have a challenge that I'm going through, and I feel like I have a blind spot where I need some guidance. So the issue is basically that um, my husband is home for sometimes all of the day, sometimes most of the day, and I feel like I need my space, both mentally and physically. We have a small apartment, and he gets in my way, but not only it's if it would be someone else, maybe also. But um, maybe I'm the type of person who needs more space than someone else. But um, yeah, that's basically my challenge now. That it's been a while. It's been several months now, and I tried what I could for myself, but I guess I'm missing something.
So you're saying you're trying to figure out how to get more space because your husband he's home all day.
Well, I don't find more space, but how I can deal with it, and it shouldn't affect me, maybe. Or if I can have more space, that would be lovely, but at least deal with it. And also, maybe I could make something good out of it. Maybe I can know what they say, make lemonade out of lemons and enjoy the time somehow.
So you're saying he's been home 24/7 for several months now?
That would be exaggerated, but sometimes it's 24 hours a day, but sometimes he does go out a little bit here and there. And I love that time. I become a different person if he gives me some space for a few hours. But if it's been days without it, I'm also a different person in a bad way.
So how come he's home all day? Does he is he work from
Right.
home, work, or what's happening?
He No, he's unemployed right now. He
He's
doesn't work now.
employed. And
Yeah.
and you're saying for it's been a few months that he lost his job. Did he quit or he got fired or what happened?
Yes, you got no, yeah, you got laid off. Yes.
Laid off, meaning they were just uh
Like
there's a difference. Hmm?
oh, okay. So it's no, that business is like not doing well
I
and they
see.
couldn't afford him anymore. Yes.
I see. Yeah, because that makes a big difference to a husband's mentality. If he quit because he was tired of
Oh.
it, he feels a little, he feels bad, but at least he feels in control. If he was
So
fired,
it
then he feels really low. If it's laid off, it's a little somewhere in between.
well, he did not enjoy it and he didn't do his best because he really didn't like it. He wanted to leave. He didn't think it's gonna take so long to find a new job, but a little bit of both. Yeah. It was he was like he was done there. And
Mhm.
at the end, he got sent away, but he could have worked harder to keep the job if he wanted to, but he didn't want
I hear. I hear. Does he have any level of, I mean, that if really greatly affects a man's self-esteem, like that's who, whatever.
to.
So do you think he's might be suffering from depression?
Not yet. No.
Oh, that's good. I mean, does he spend it
Yeah.
when he's home? Is he in bed or is he doing stuff or what's going on when he's home? The reason
He's
I know
always
you said, I
okay.
know you said you wanted it space, but I just need to sort of get a picture of like
Okay, sure,
what's going on.
sure.
Yeah.
So he's ready to help me. That's what he says. He's ready to help me whenever I need. And then when I do ask him for help, he sometimes does help. So right now he's watching the kids, and it's a hard time. It's Hanukkah, and it's a hard time of the day for my time zone, and he's taking care of me. He's always taking care of me. If it's important, he'll help me. But if it's not very important, he'll just tell me that he's gonna help me, and then he doesn't end up. He does or he doesn't, whatever. No, he's not like depressed. He is, but he doesn't like to go out between people and oh, he didn't have a job. Oh, he didn't have a job, and so he doesn't like to go between people, but he's not. I can't say he's depressed.
Mm-hmm.
It did affect his self-esteem, but only a little bit. I really believe in him, and I think he's okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So the has his being around you. I mean, you got you said a little apartment and a lot of kids and whatever. Has in the past when he was working, did you ever have this sense of feeling like you need your
Yes,
space?
yes, always. I mean, always. Yes. When I feel like he shouldn't be here, when it's like extra time. So when whenever I feel like I want to do my thing in the kitchen, laundry, anything, and I need space, mental space or physical space, I don't want him to be there. No. So that's why this challenge is now more pronounced than it would be, but it's something I can use always, even if he finds a job tomorrow. That's why I stuck with this topic because I feel I need help with it anyway. Yes.
Right here, what um have you ever had a conversation with your husband about this?
Yes, the first one didn't go well. I was too tired. He told me
Mm-hmm.
afterwards that he didn't feel respected. He felt disrespected. But then we did have another discussion, and so that's when he told me that he doesn't have where to go out because he doesn't like to be around people. People, during working hours especially.
You mean because he feels like
He has it in mind.
people are going to wonder
Yeah,
why aren't you at work? That's a self-esteem issue,
yeah,
and he's self-preservation. I get it.
yeah. Well, maybe he doesn't have the best self-esteem, but it's not depressed. The one like you asked me before.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't think so. So he knows about it. He has it in mind. He tries to, if he could. He knows about it, and if it works for him, then he does it.
Is he actively looking for a job now?
Yes, yes,
That's good.
for
I mean,
sure.
like, how much time a day does he spend looking for a job?
How much he calls around people. Gets on interviews. He he tries whatever he thinks he can try.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Um, I mean, is he the type to just hope it happens, or is he the type that does every bit of hishtadlus he possibly can and leave no stone unturned?
Hmm, maybe somewhere in between. He tries the best. He's not a very he calls it an executor. The doers. He's not very motivated to, but he does what mhm. He tries his best. I would say with his personality, I would say he does the best. I think this is the way I feel. Maybe I'm not right, but this is the way
No,
I
no,
feel.
good. Okay, yeah, that's good. You're closest to him, and if you think he's making good effort, yeah, I'm just trying to.
The best of his ability.
Yeah, yeah, which is good. So the question is for your needing of space. The question I have for you is how does and you said it didn't go well because you were tired and you felt disrespected or whatever. Could it also be partly that he felt rejected by you?
Probably, probably.
Mm-hmm.
I felt that way. That it came out that way. I
Right.
didn't mean it, but I felt it. I felt that way.
And were you able to rectify that in his mind, or that's still sort of in the air of your relationship now?
No, no, no. We spoke about it again afterwards. Like we cleared it up. Yes, for sure. I
Mm-hmm.
usually don't have such bad conversations like I had that one. Usually
Mm-hmm.
we do better.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I guess it was a point that I was really frustrated. And it was also that so typically I always feel like he's right, I'm wrong, and I got to change I need to change. I'm usually the one that's not so good. So, and that was a point where I confirmed it with myself again and again that, yes, this is what I need. So sometimes I would think, well, if I need
What, oh,
space, there must,
this is what I need is space, you're saying? I just missed that last train of thought. That what you need is space.
that what I need is space. Yeah. So typically I would think if I need space, there must be something wrong with me that I need space. I shouldn't be needing the space. So until I convince myself that it's true that I need space and I'm allowed to need space, and until I initiated this conversation,
Mhm.
it came out in not a good way. And it was on top of being frustrated by being around him. I feel like we need to separate a little bit. Like Nida, we need to separate a little bit to be closer again. And if we're
Mm-hmm.
together all the time,
Right.
I feel like it's not good for the relationship.
Okay, I'm with you. What logistic things have you tried? Because it seems to me like, okay, during the day, totally understand. I get it. 9 to 5, he doesn't want to be out and seen. And where are you working and whatever? He's embarrassed. And that's that. I'm sure as a wife, if she were on the other foot, you'd want him to say, "Do what you need to do, dear." Like so. So that from 9 to 5. Now, what about you know, in the evening? So I got two potential things. And now I'm going to throw some stuff out and we're going to work it out. May or may not be working, but may or may not hit the nail on the head. But I'm going to throw out two things. One is that you have during those 9 to 5 hours where he should be working, uh, you know, is there a way that you can say between 11 and 1, or, you choose the time between 10 and 12? That's my window of space. And it doesn't mean you can't go in the kitchen and grab yourself some water. It means nothing about your activities except don't go in my office or don't go in the living room, or you can come and walk around me anytime you want, but don't talk to me. Like what would satisfy during the 9 to 5 time that would be like, oh, wow, that would probably not be so horribly hard for him, but would make a world of difference to me. It doesn't have to be 2 hours. It could be 15 minutes. I don't know you. You know you.
Mm, I hear. I'm not sure. I don't understand it enough because I couldn't come up with something.
So the issue is that you're making a window. You're in close quarters, right?
Okay. Hmm.
And you yourself said, I have a right to I need space, and you used to beat yourself up for needing space, but you really need space, and that's why it's come to a head where he's home all the time. So you're if you had, some people, when I need space, anything that interferes with your needing space becomes more, and you think, I need a whole day of space. When really the truth is, if you had 15 minutes or a half an hour from, you had lunch by yourself. I don't know if you eat together, lunch, whatever. I don't want to take the time to pick apart your whole life because I want to accomplish more here. Is that, if you had a half an hour from 12 to 12:30, and you could go in the fridge, you could grab some crackers and tuna or a sandwich, whatever it is that you have for lunch, and you just had that time to, read the emails from your sister-in-law or for your sister, or schmooze on the phone with somebody, whatever, and have that. I don't know what you need with space. Some people want to listen to music. Some people just
I
need
hear.
not pecking. When here's the thing you have to understand about the real world is that whenever someone comes to us and says, Ma, can I have whatever? It's always the wrong time. Always. There's never a time where, like, oh, I was just doing nothing. I'm happy to help you with your homework. I'm happy to do your science project with you. I'm happy to, doesn't happen. People are always frenzied, always busy. And what makes life precious and that feeling of connection and hitting the pillow at night with feeling like you had a good day was taking the 30 seconds that it takes to, you know, interact, to connect with our loved ones, and particularly our husband. Now, if your husband is there and he's constantly, where's the ketchup? What do you know what time the thing is? What who called before? And he's constantly pecking at you. That is going to create a need for space for any human being that walked on the face of the earth. Some people have more or less ability to deal with that. Everyone, it could be that, during normal life when he was gone for during the day, you could deal with it. And then if it was Shabbos and he was hovering and you're whatever, and you're just like, or you're in the middle of doing something, you have to drop everything to help him find his keys, or whatever it is. This is the gift of marriage. Thank you very much. This is part of the challenge. But if you could narrow it down to what your real needs are, really, what really do you need during the day?
Okay, I like what you say. I'm gonna try to focus more on that, but I don't like to say but, and I feel it's also very much mental. So again, because we have a small apartment, maybe because of that, maybe not. But I do have my times, okay, that he's not bothering me, that he's either napping or busy with, I don't know. And so I could have my half hour here and there of quiet time, but because I know he's here, somehow it's a way in my brain. Maybe like you say that I know he could come over at any time and ask me something and talk about something. Mm, but I thought it's more mentally that I know he's here. I love to have the house to myself, accomplish what I want to accomplish, or even rest, but just have
Right. So
my own
unfortunately,
place.
because he's
Or
unemployed and because you have a small apartment, the disconnect between
mhm,
what's possible and what you want it's too big of a gap. So I get it. I totally hear you. And it's
okay,
wonderful that you know that and identified that in yourself. And it's a little bit like,
okay,
I, I don't know, I think of a good example, like I wished I was, 6 foot tall
right,
or whatever, you know what I'm saying? This is the
yeah,
reality you have right now today.
yes,
Right.
okay,
And so we're going to have to think of something,
okay. So that's why I'm here.
right. Here's where you are, where
Okay,
it is, and here's where you want it to be. We're going to have to come up with a compromise that is a B minus.
okay,
Like A would be you had the house to yourself. Okay.
okay,
A plus, you have the
okay,
house to yourself. A B minus is, so we're going to think of a B minus, and the B minus might just be having a conversation with him about the fact that you realize you need space, whatever, and you don't want resentment to build or whatever. And you feel that if you had that space, having nothing to do with him, it's not you, dear, it's any human being in the house. That's why, now I don't know if your kids are toddlers or what ages you are, but at a certain point your kids are all at school for a while and you go like,
mhm,
oh, it's me again. Like I'm here with myself. I'm not like changing a diaper and the bottle and what time do they eat and what time do they have the diaper and whatever. You finally have that ability to exhale, right? And now your husband's here saying,
right,
dear, what time do we have any ketchup? Do we have any, whatever it is, or can you let's make lunch for, what do you think about, should we have this one for Shabbos? Whatever. So understanding yourself and saying, listen,
right,
between this is a window I need. I want you to know my intention in getting this window of space, whether it's a half an hour or an hour, maybe start with a half an hour. That might be the easiest one for him to hear, and say between 12 and 12:30, or when I first wake up. Listen, when I daven and I feel like you need me, but I'm just davening, and I feel like if you're between 9 and 9:30, after the kids are off at school or whatever your life is like, I just need to sit with my cup of coffee. No talking, no requests, no, did you pay the credit card bill? Nothing. I just need that, whatever. Maybe start with a half an hour, an hour. That is a B minus. I get it. It's not getting you your A, but it's getting your B minus. Now, here's going to do two things. It's going to do things. The first thing it's going to do is it's going to get you a real need met. The second thing is because that need is met, when you are, the other 23 and a half hours of the day are going to bother you
mhm,
less. It's guaranteed.
okay,
Peril, it's
makes sense.
guaranteed.
Yeah.
Getting just a little bit of a
Yeah.
window. Meretz Hashem.
Mhm.
You should also put it in your davening. Please, Hashem, help me to deal with this. So then the second thing I want to talk about, and you got to work that logistics out, and you've got to figure out a way to say it to your husband in a way that doesn't make him feel rejected or hurt or whatever. Okay.
Right.
Really, really important. Maybe write a
Yeah.
letter to him. Maybe, have a conversation with him and tell him how much you love him and how much he means to you and how important he is and how wonderful he is. and whatever, and, do it in a way and say, my hope is that getting that will make me even a better wife to you when I am for the other 23 and a half hours.
I
Okay.
love that.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah, I love
it's like,
that.
yeah, Emerit Hashem, Emerit Hashem. But the other issue is the non 9 to 5 time. So after if he ran into someone, they're not going to ask him, why aren't you at work? Right. That would be a time. There's something about, for a woman is more centered on the home and like what's on this side of the door, of the front door. A man his nature is more out there, uh, being a warrior, fighting I don't know what his job was or whatever, but it's more dealing with the scary outside world. Now, again, these are broad generalizations. So there are plenty of women who work full time and are out and dealing with all the whatever. And their husband maybe he's in Kollel, or maybe he's, works from home and it's less stressful, and he's doing a business deal and then hanging up and then playing a little ping pong. And then, I don't know what people's life is. Who's playing ping pong in the middle of the day? But anyway, whatever, you get my point. The point, everyone's life is different. It's very different than a woman's whole reality. And if your husband were able to go out for a little bit at night, now this could be a potential for you to have space, but your kids are home. And I also think I don't think it might work as well as the first suggestion I made, but I am just thinking about your husband's needs of social interaction where he's thought well of. So whether that's like, going to a shear and then making a few really great comments, in the shear, or whether it's, going and going to his brother-in-law and helping his brother-in-law who is redoing the garage and helping hammer up the tools and whatever, doing something that is in the outside world might help his self-esteem.
Yeah, so he really, pardon?
Yeah, can you
What?
think of anything that might fit that bill?
So anything, and he actually really enjoys going out and meeting people. He's very social, very social. But I can't make him go out.
Right, but you can arrange stuff. You can say, your brother, your brother's wife, my sister-in-law, your brother's wife, somebody you feel very close with his brother, your sister-in-law. I talked to her and she said, oh, she wants us to, swing by to help them decide on, they're getting a shed for their backyard and there's, 7 different kinds and they can't decide. And you're good at that. So they want us to, I was,
I hear, but is that not silent control?
Is that silent control?
Isn't it?
It's being an Ezer Kenegdo. It's using your Binus Yasera to bring out the best in your husband.
Okay, I thought I'm not supposed to do anything like that could potentially be controlling.
I hear.
Okay, no, I hear you. I'm listening to what you're
I
saying.
mean, it could be. I mean, I don't know the relationships and your relationship with your husband, and maybe you've controlled him in that way in the past. But on the other hand, it's kind of like, even thinking of a good Shabbos invitation, getting asked out, calling somebody who maybe you went to high school with and calling them up and saying, we're whatever. I'm been so exhausted lately. I've got so much flying. I know we haven't been to each other's house for Shabbos lunch for 7 years, but I just thought of you and I thought, oh, you know what? And then I thought, oh, let me invite them. And I'm like, I'm exhausted. So can we come? I don't know. I'm making this up. And maybe people think this is totally social taboo and you shouldn't do that kind of thing. But I'm just brainstorming things like this that might fit in the bailiwick of using your Bini Yasera. Because if he's sitting at the Shabbos table cracking jokes and everyone's laughing, he's getting a job on Monday. He needs that bolstering. A man who doesn't have a job, their identity, a woman thinks, oh, who cares? So you get another one, you're fine. Yeah. And that's why, a lot of women say, oh, well, he's home anyway. He can help me with the dishes. Right. So the problem is that he's like, I don't have a job. I'm a loser. And I'm doing women's work. Now, I'm not saying that's women's work. I just said the wrong, totally politically incorrect thing. But there is a little shtickle of a thing that, even though men help with the dishes, it's kind of like what the woman, doing the diapers with certain things. Look, I just have to say a little side thing of we're going from the mission that we're on right now. Klal Yisrael is going from an equality-based marriage, from the Goyish Welt, right? An equality-based marriage to a Torah-based marriage. Okay, that doesn't mean the woman's doing all the dishes, but it means that it's not like, well, I did them yesterday, your turn today, like that. And there's a huge difference between a woman taking the chayes, I'm the dishes doer, whatever, and then when he does the dishes, and like, oh, thank you so much. Not like, well, it's part of his job. That changes everything for a man. Everything. I have a lot of shows about this, so check out Ladies TalkShow, whatever. But anyhow, the point I'm making here is you have to know your husband. You have to do introspection. But you have, by the way, she's nodding like this the whole time I'm talking. You're so yummy. You have to figure out your husband and figure out what can I do to bring out the best in him. And if you just gave the secret, which is he's a very social guy. Get him in front of groups, get him, whatever. Oh, by the way, I hope it's okay. I had we're having so-and-so in this family and that family. And then I felt really bad because they were part of a group that whatever. And if I didn't invite her, she'd feel bad. So we're having a bunch of people. He will feel so good sitting at the head of the table with, just the whole atmosphere in the home. So that might be a real secret for opening him up to feel better about himself.
So you're saying, I want to make sure I understand it clear.
Okay.
That sure. I could try to somehow get him into places where he's going to feel good rather than, let's say, washing dishes. And okay, I didn't realize that. I thought he feels good when he helps me wash the dishes. But now I hear that not really. It's not.
It's like I'm a loser at work and I'm at home. I'm doing my wife's job.
Wow. Wow. It's so worth the whole thing just to hear this.
So, I mean, look, I could be wrong about your particular husband, but for most men,
no, you're not. No, you're not. It makes sense.
Yeah, it's such a come down. It's they're not working, and then they go back on the couch and like, what's the point? Like it takes away their esteem and their self-respect. And, in fact, when if a wife says did you look for a job today? Did you it's so nice you don't have a job yet because you just take this time to regroup and to be stronger. And then when you go and do find the job that you love, and find another job that hopefully you'll love it and it'll be better and you'll have more control, more power over there, more you know what I'm saying? Like, instead of like nagging him about what he doesn't have, it's having him see it from the perspective of a time to regroup. It's very powerful. It's a little hard because you're in a situation, Peril, where you want to bolster him and make him feel good, but you also want him out of your hair. So it's a contradictory message. It's a contradictory, and you might just have to bite your tongue until he gets a job, and you have to think about this very seriously because
I'm actually very confident in him. I believe in him. I know he's going to get a very good job, and he's very competent, capable man. I just need to wait, and I'm telling you anyway an issue, right? So not only now, so I needed help on this anyway.
Right.
But I'm amazed. I need to try to find ways that build his self-esteem.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm going to finish with one final story. There was a woman who husband was out of work and they were financially everything was going down the tubes and they were going to potentially lose stuff. I think they actually might have, I don't know, they lost a business, something bankrupt. I don't know what happened, but she was saying that she's just like bereft. Everything looked horrible. And I told her what to tell. I said, go to your husband and tell him, listen, I know your best friend just bought this mansion, and I know that your other friend is doing really great in business, and I know you feel like because our financial situation and your job and your company, whatever it was, isn't doing well. But I want you to know something. In the eyes of Hashem, you're everything. You're a superstar. You're a Superman. You're a good husband. You're a good father. You're a good community member. You're a good son. You're a good brother. You're like in all of the things that Hashem measures a human being by, you're at the front of the line. This is what she told her husband. And it took him, I think, 6 months or a year to just get another start. I think they had debt for 20 years, to a long time. But it hasn't even been 20 years. This story happened about 10 years ago, whatever, but it took them a long time to turn the wheel around. But she told me, she came back to me and she said, I just want you to know something, that we went through a really, really horrible time during that time. And I was like, couldn't even buy a new outfit for Rosh Hashanah. And I was having a terrible time financially. But after about a year, even before things started turning around, my husband said to me that was, I didn't know it at the time, but he said, I was drowning in the ocean and you threw me a life preserver. I want to thank you for that. So this is the power that a woman can have.
Wow. I didn't know. I have power. I feel powerless. Okay.
Why do you feel powerless?
Because I was taught to stay in my lane and stay on my paper and let him figure things out and trust him. So I totally trust him, but I didn't know I have a place to try to encourage him.
Yeah.
I do tell him that I trust him and I believe in him and that I know he's gonna be very successful. And he loves to hear it, but that's the most I do.
That's good. That's beautiful. What's wrong with that? I'm not sure I'm following what's the gap? What are you what is missing that you are going to start?
So I just heard now from you that I could try to organize that he should get into situations more socially or places where he's going to feel more successful or not successful. His self-esteem he will feel better with himself rather than sitting home and
Right. Yeah, you'll give it a try. You'll give it a try, Carol. And the other thing is that we're all in this trial and error life. Life is a trial and error. You'll try something. You'll invite one couple or one couple with its baby. You start small for a Shabbos meal, or you call one person, one old friend, and say, "Hey, can we come?" or something, like whatever works in your life. And then you'll see how if it made him depressed, if he felt less than, if someone said a comment, what are you doing for work? And it made it work, it could happen, and you feel like, oh, what a dumb thing I did. But you have to experiment. And the point is that you're, as an Ezer, that's the job of an Ezer Kenegdo, not to nag, not to whatever, but to use your Beni Yasser that Hashem gave you to, what can I do to bring out the best in my husband? Okay, we're totally out of time. Peril, okay. Hashem should bench you, that you should have kayak to do this, that you should have kayak to do trial and error, and that you should work out a way to get the space that you need. It's a genuine, right now you're in a little bit of a crisis situation because your husband, you're in the thick of it, so it might not be worth to try and get your need met now about space. It may not be appropriate time because your husband's going through this self-esteem whole thing that happens to every man when he's unemployed. So this may not be the time to work on it. But if you feel that it's comfortable for you, say, can I have a half an hour from breakfast or lunch or whatever it is that you're, or maybe not meals, because maybe he needs you, but from 2 to 3 in the afternoon before the kids come home at 3:45. Can I have that time where I just have zone out time or something like that? That might be okay. Yeah. But the bottom line
sounds like it's going to work.
Yeah.
Like
and that just and use it. And the way you're saying it again is so that I can be awesome to you the other times, if I get that space. So, okay. Thank you so much for being with us, Peril. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And thank you for everything.
Very good.
Thank you for everything you do for everyone.
You're welcome. Oh, tough, sweetheart.